This is the Uptick Network Stock Day podcast, sponsored by InvestorsHangout.com. Penny stock news and interviews from the microcap world. Public information on OTC, pink sheets, and microcap stocks from around the world. With your host, Everett Jolly.
On today's show, we have a very exciting guest with us. He is the CEO of BioLargo. His name is Dennis Calvert, and they trade on the OTCQB under the ticker symbol BLGO. Dennis, thank you and welcome to the show.
Oh, it's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
You know, give us a little bit of history of yourself and a little bit of a history background of your company, and then we'll get into the Q&A.
Yeah, I can do that. Sure, Everett. Thanks. You know, I'm really an entrepreneur by training. I had I had a chance to be part of the chemicals industry and corporate finance and merger and acquisition, and I had a chance along that journey of developing a number of companies to meet the inventor of the BioLargo technology, Kenneth Ray Code. He and I started a relationship now well over a decade ago, and when I met Ken, he presented to me what I'd call his life's work, a series of discoveries that all rely on the all-natural iodine molecule. That's the Earth's most natural disinfectant, broad-spectrum, potent, and a nutrient. And he'd been working for years to work with that molecule to formulate a number of ways to use it to make life better.
Okay.
And so we formed that relationship over a decade ago. And when I met him, he had a first patent, a brain full of invention, and a passion to go out and make a difference in the world, and commercial opportunities that just span the globe. And so we've been together for well over a decade now. We've developed 3 technical platforms. Each is special in their own way. They have a huge market opportunity. And so that's the genesis of now the company BioLargo Incorporated.
Is he still a part of the BioLargo?
He is. He's our chief science officer, inventor, big shareholder, very active. When we formed that relationship, not only did we sort of start with what he had invented at that time, but as part of our agreement, we said, we should really expand all of the opportunities. And so we are very active in the invention field, and we're still creating new invention that we think will impact the world for good.
You guys are delivering sustainable technology-based products to help solve some of the biggest problems that we have across the universe here. One is water supplies. Can you tell us a little bit about, or give us a little bit of an update on your AOS Filter Technology system?
Yeah, sure I can. About 3 years ago, we were recruited into a research project up in Canada. At that time, it was focused on the water associated with the oil sands industry. And we started a project with Shell and Suncor and Syncrude and CRNL and Total and the Regional Water District, which is called EPCOR, Environment Canada and Sustain Canada, and then little BioLargo, right? And of course, the question it begs is why are we there? I mean, really. And of course, the answer is because the researchers that were leading that project believed that our technical breakthroughs could have a significant impact on those industries. Well, that's almost 3.5 years ago. That project was funded with a $5 million grant from INSERC, Science and Engineering Grant from the federal government of Canada at the University of Alberta. It became a template for us to build out what we now call our research center. And we have a research center on campus at the university. We've got 10 researchers. We've got 20 collaborations. And the total grant count is about 15 or so. A couple $1 million worth of grants have come behind our technology now, and it is expanding. And all of that is focused on what we call the AOS filter, which is really a system, right? It's a water treatment system. It's a point-to-flow device where water flows through our filter, and as the water comes across the surface area, we generate an oxidation potential. That's a highly potent oxidizer across the surface of the filter that destroys and eliminates contaminants at incredibly low power with very high efficiency.
It seems like to me the city of Michigan should be getting in touch with you guys with all their problems with their water over there.
Well, I know. It's crazy. The water industry is really dynamic. The good and bad, right? From our perspective, the good is, right, that there's so many needs. I mean, it is a massive industry.
Absolutely.
The difficulty is people get stuck in a rut. They go with what they know. And so it has been a market where innovation is a little slower to adopt, and that's one of our challenges. So what we've done is we focused on areas within the market of water, so subsets, where we can pick a lane and win. And in fact, our first pick really is in the poultry processing water for food processing industry. But we believe the technology will, in fact, touch every segment of the water industry on a global level. And you say, well, how can that be, right? How can you touch every segment?
Exactly.
So let me break it down for you real quick. If you look at how you treat water, there's particles, and then there's chemical disinfection, and you've got contaminants like living things, right? So that's disinfection. You also have contaminants like acids and sulfurs and soluble organics like solvents that you got to get out, oil and gas byproducts. And what we have done is we've proven that our AOS filter is able to achieve a result that in many cases, especially in disinfection, is 100 times more effective than the best in the world. It's 100.
Wow.
It's a very bold claim, yeah. And we do so at less than 1/20th the power. And power equates to cost, especially in industrial, right?
So do you guys already have a commercial application out there? Are you monetizing this technology yet?
It's a good question. This August 15th, 2016, we'll be presenting the first commercial prototype. We actually got a grant, and we got a relationship put together with the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology. And that grant sponsored the build-out and the specification, including automation, for what we call a fully engineered design ready for manufacturing. So this will be the first commercially designed unit. And then it will go into manufacturing and piloting with clients around the world.
I'm just thinking all the third world countries that have, horrible contaminated water, how much of a gift that would be to them.
Right. Well, in fact, if you think about that sector, right, so you got to get out the particles and you got to perform high-level disinfection at a low cost, right? So one of our value propositions is that because of the nature of the oxidation across the surface, we're actually self-cleaning the filter. And so what that means is our filters can last up to 100 times longer than the normal filter and perform a job that's better than has ever been performed in a filter device, right? And very low costs, right? So low CapEx, low OpEx, highly efficient, long-lasting, highly functional. So we've actually taken that proposition to a number of global leaders, people that are in the business of serving mankind on a global footprint, right?
Absolutely.
And we've talked about partnership. We've talked about building ecosystems around manufacturing, design, service, training, education. Because there's all of that sociological component is critical to succeed in the emerging nations. It's going to be more than technology. Technology is a good reason to start, but you better have all those other tools to really imprint and make a difference for the long term. But your intuition's right on, Everett. We do have that opportunity ahead for us, and what you have to do as a small company is focus where you can pay the bills first, and then align yourself with people that share that big, common, world-impacting vision, and that's what we're doing.
My guest today is Dennis Calvert. He is the CEO of BioLargo Incorporated. They trade on the OTCQB under the ticker symbol BLGO. Now, Dennis, you guys have a number of different platform technologies. Can you give us a short overview of what makes your company so special, and maybe give us what you guys got in the pipeline now for another product?
Yeah, I can do that. In fact, one of the beauties in our business is the breadth of opportunities are just so enormous, right? But what you have to do is focus, right? Narrow and focus where you can win to go out and create a commercially viable enterprise that sells product and makes money. Okay, so it's taken us a long time to narrow that field, and we've done so, we think, quite well. And so those are as follows. We have three technical platforms we call Cupridyne, which is chemistry, the ISAN, which is an iodine dosing system, and then the AOS, which is this water contamination remover/destroyer, right?
Right.
Destructor. Okay, that's three technical platforms. What we're doing with them, the first one is Cupridyne, and what we've discovered through a series of product developments and trials in a number of markets is that it's particularly well suited for industrial odor control. And we're winning accounts. We just did a press release. We've gone out with trials with some of the major industries that handle decomposing matter. So that's waste handling, medical waste, food waste, composting, transfer stations, landfills, sort of wherever there's a decomposing matter, there's going to be volatile organic compounds.
Yeah, just the whole the gamut of all the different odors out there that are kind of offensive.
So what we've discovered is that our Cupridine Clean, which is a product, the website is cupridine.com, Cupridine, cupridine.com. That product is finding traction, and it's very exciting because it's one of the first times in our journey where we don't have significant barriers to entry. This is one where the current products that have been sold into that marketplace, there's a very high level of dissatisfaction. The need for effective odor control is a priority, and there's no regulatory barrier for us to sell and supply Cupridine Clean to that market. So we've developed a marketing campaign, selling campaign, a free trial campaign, and we're just pressing as aggressively and as fast as possible to get the word out, because right now that's all it is. Get the word out, and the customers are really loving what they're seeing with results from our product. So that's pretty cool.
Can you give our listeners a little bit of what's in store for BioLargo for the next 12 months, and help us understand your plans and goals for BioLargo for the next 3 to 4 quarters?
Well, sure. So these technical platforms are all finding their way to market. The odor control, we think, is probably the most dynamic, revenue-generating, rapid growth opportunity in the company at the moment. It has a chance to grow rapidly and easily, and so we're pushing the accelerator down for Cupridine Clean. Okay, medical products, which we developed a host of breakthrough medical products, have been financed as a result of an investment in December of 2015, and we're in the process of preparing for FDA application. Until that FDA application is in place, they're not available for sale. So we hope and we believe that we're on target to achieve that result in the Q1 2017 timeframe, and those are significant, valuable products. Our investor there has also agreed to supply a $5 million line of credit post-FDA approval. So we're going to have the money, the tools, the product, the people to launch those products into a very large market for BioLargo starting in Q1 2017 is our goal.
Can you tell our listeners what kind of applications those would particularly cover in which markets?
Yeah, we're starting in what the industry calls advanced wound care. So a chronic infected wound, that would be like a diabetic ulcer. These are wounds that otherwise would not heal. So it's a prescribed market. It does have OTC or over-the-counter applications, which would be great. But you really want to start where the high value is, which is people that have wounds that won't heal, that are very painful and threaten their limbs and threaten their life.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, a very special market. And what we've done is assembled a team of experts in the field. We've contracted with professional manufacturing and formulation people, and we're in that development, prove it up, refine it cycle now in preparation of the FDA. Once you come through that, you then take that talent and you work with key opinion leaders to get the word out. You do technical symposiums, and you kind of put the product into the marketplace and go to work treating infected wounds. And so that's a pretty significant. That's a multi-billion-dollar market, and we've got a disruptor for it.
My guest today has been Dennis Calvert. He is the CEO of BioLargo. They trade on the OTCQB under the ticker symbol BLGO. Dennis, I could stay on the radio here and talk to you all day long. Some of the products that you guys have are just incredible. But in closing, is there anything that you would like to get out to the listeners that you and I didn't get a chance to talk about?
Yeah, sure. I'd love for people to really study the company. We've been very, very diligent to create a company that is built on equity, not debt. We've been very, very careful to secure the kind of financing that allows us to progress in a methodical way. We're now at that acceleration, sort of that apex moment where you've got convergence of science and product and markets. And so we think it presents an incredibly attractive growth opportunity for the company. The principles by which we built the company are ones that will last the test of time. It's dependable. And at the core of our company is this great technology. And so as we find traction in these various markets, we think we have a chance to build what from where we are today to what will become a very significant company in multiple markets serving partners and customers around the globe.
Dennis Calvert, CEO of BioLargo, is our guest today. And Dennis, thank you very much for coming on the show. I really do appreciate it. And we're going to check back with you in a couple of months, see how things are going.
Awesome. Thank you.